بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي نور قلوبنا بأنوار المحبة الألمية وأكمل لنا ديننا بولاية المرتزبية وتم نعمته علينا بهداية الهداية ونصلي ونسلم على سيد من خلق المؤمن الحق بالحق حبيب إلهنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الهداة المهديين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من يوم إدارتهم إلى يوم الدين. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. Brothers and sisters in Iman, Assalamu alaikum. Over the last few nights that I have been blessed to be in this gathering, we have been focusing on the ibadat of Allah, and we came to this conclusion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes most of the ibadats to be done in secret and done not in the sight of the public, but to be done in the privacy of your own home, even far away from your own family. However, we said there are certain aspects which are known as sha'a'ir of Allah, that Allah has also mentioned in the Quran, وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمُ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَهُوَ مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. That whoever respects and holds grand, azim, yu'azzim, grand these sha'airs of Allah, it increases the taqwa of the qalb, of the qulub. And if you remember last year, we talked about the heart in quite a lot of detail. So these sha'airs, we have to try to figure out what they are. What are they? Is it just Hajj? Because Allah mentions the sha'airs in the Quran, in particular to the events of Hajj. So Hajj is once a year. So for the rest, the 10 months, 11 months of the year, where is the sha'airs? Is it just one trip to Hajj? Because some people don't even get to go in their lifetime. So does that mean they don't have taqwa of the qulub, of the heart? When we know in the Quran it says, وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, that the best end is only for those who have taqwa. So if these sha'airs of Allah increase the purity and the piety of the heart, we have to try to see what they are. And we also mentioned that amongst these sha'airs of Allah are things like naming your children with good names of Ahlul Bayt. And that is something that unfortunately seems to be day to day as we go by. We sometimes, especially in this country, we think that if we name our children with these names, they may get in school because of the climate we're in, because of all this propaganda that is going on. So I think more and more children are being born. You ask what the child's name is, you're surprised as what his names they are putting. And it's amazing, Ahlul Bayt had a very strong opinion on names. Very strong opinion on names. So much so that if they married someone, Imam would come and say to them, this wife of yours that you married, ask her to change her name to something else. You see? The particular importance of his name. Or like for instance, we have Imam, the seventh Imam, and one of his companions came up to him, and Imam said, I haven't seen you for a few days. Where have you been? He said, Allah has blessed me with a daughter. I haven't been able to come in your presence. He said, what have you named this girl of yours? He said, I've named her KOMAIL. Imam said, go and straight away change that name, because that name is not from Ahlul Bayt. So this importance of names. And there's an amazing hadith from Imam Hussein himself, that he says, whichever house has the name Rubab in there, poverty will never enter that house. Now, who is the maqam of Hazrat Rubab? Unfortunately, some of these things, I personally think, we don't talk about them enough. And they get lost in history. One of the ones that we don't really mention that much about is Hazrat Rubab, for instance. or Kulsum, or even Hazrat Sakina, the oldest daughter of Imam, Sakina al-Kubra, that when I read some of the ahadith that Imam Hussein has said about her, it really shocks me. I'll just give you one of them as an example. He has said, Sakinatun khayratun min nisa'i. Sakina is the best of all of my women. Does that include his sister Zainab? Now, who was she? Now, see, these things we get lost. And inshallah, one year, I really would like to, one year, talk about women. Inshallah. It's one of those topics that's, it's not a very easy topic to talk about, because unfortunately, subjugation of women, it's something that we men do. Purely for the control of the power and belittling the women. It's something that not only us but Muslims, but every walk of life you will see the equality of women and the importance of women and the maqam of the woman is talked down. And this needs to change. And inshallah, one day if I find the courage, because we need a lot of courage, that we can talk about women and their position in Islam. So names we said with the Sha'ar of Allah. One of the other things that we said, the most important Sha'ar of Allah, and we said Sha'ar of Allah has to be done in public, at the loudest possible voice, and with the biggest glamour and the biggest glitz. We said the Azadari of Imam Hussein is the biggest Sha'ar of Allah. That whoever holds the Azadari of Imam Hussein as grand, yu'azzim Sha'ar al-Hussein, fahuwa min taqwa al-qulub. That's the one that increases the piety of the heart. Another one of the sha'airs of Allah that we mentioned yesterday was the salawat ala nabi. This very simple dua is both a dua and a zikr, but it is the highest dua that we have, especially when we put wa'ajjal farajahum at the end. It becomes the most complete dua that we have. Why? Because in salawat we have tawheed, we have hamd, we have nubuwwat, and we have imamat. All in one dua. And this holds the maqam of Rasulullah as being very high. If you hold the maqam of Rasulullah as being high, then everything else will fall into place. Because you see with Ahl Sunnah, they don't hold the maqam of Rasulullah high at all. Someone said to me a few nights ago, when is the shahadat of Rasulullah that Ahl Sunnah hold? And I said, no, they don't do sadness, they only do shadi and happiness. But anyway, that's their loss, not ours. One of the other sha'airs of Allah is azan. Azan has to be done loudly. And so much so, we have traditions from our imams that do the azan loudly in your house. Even the Fajr azan, even if it means waking up people in your house. We don't understand what these words are, what the importance of these words are, what barakat they bring to our house. But I just want to give you an example of how important azan is. That Amir al-Mu'mineen himself, with all of his maqam, you all heard this, that on the 19th of Ramadan, he himself went on the Masjid al-Kufa and did the azan. Wow. This was something that he did all the time himself. Even on the night that he's going to be killed, he still holds the sha'air of Allah, the importance of azan as being extremely high. So this in itself is a teaching and a lesson for us. One of the other sha'airs, and I want to wrap this topic up a little bit tonight, inshallah. The other nights we'll move on to the main points that I want to make. One of the other sha'airs of Allah that in particular the women have is the hijab. Hijab is for public. No one asks you to wear hijab in the house in front of your mahrams, do they? Hijab is something that is worn in public. And this hijab is one of the sha'airs that have been left to us and passed on to us from the events of Kaaba. That one of the most heartbreaking events on the 10th or the evening or the 11th of Muharram, when Hazrat Sakina al-Kubra came to the body of her father, and of course she did not recognize the body, even Hazrat Zainab did not recognize this body. She asked her aunt Zainab, whose body is this that you are crying like this over so much? She turns around and says, Ya Sakina, hada na'sha abi, this is the body of your father Hussein. Now here shows the maqam of Hazrat Sakina alayhi salam. She then speaks to her father, and it is written in our maqasid and our traditions that these were her exact words. Ya abata, oh father. Now you see, she wants to, and you know, girls are very emotional, especially with their fathers. They have an amazing bond with their fathers. Now she wants, you think she could say anything to her father. What does she choose to say? The first thing she says to her father is, Ya abata, unzur ila ra'usana al-makshufa. That's her first complaint to Imam Hussein. Now she's come to this body, she's not seen her father for a day. That's her first complaint to Imam Hussein. Oh, Imam Hussein, look at our heads, they don't have hijab on them, they have been uncovered. These sha'a'is of Husseini, these sha'a'is of Allah, the enemy wants to take it away from us. That is their whole mission in this world. They want to take Hussein away from you. And they will spend, and they are spending millions upon millions to take this Hussein away from you. They want to take these tears away from you. They want to take the zanjeers away from you. They want to take the martyr away from you. They want to take all these things away from you. This because their whole fear is about Imam Hussein and his mission. One of the things they did at Karbala was they took the hijabs by force of the women of Rasulullah, of Haram Rasulullah. That Imam Hussein's biggest fear on the afternoon of Ashura, when he was being killed, when he said, Hal min Nasiri and Surani, he said, who else is there here to come and protect the Harim of Rasulullah? He was worried about what was going to happen to these women and children. So the hijab, my sisters, is sha'a'ir of Allah. When you walk in the streets, when you have the hijab on properly, and hijab is not just about covering the hair. Hijab has a lot of akhlaqiyat with it, a lot of mannerisms with it, all of this. When you're walking in the streets, you are representing Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam. So remember your importance, and the ladies have been given this maqam, that they are able to carry this out. Someone asked me a question about the Majlis last night. He was making a point about what I said. He said, you said not to give charity in public, or we shouldn't give charity in public. And he said, this does not agree with what the Quran says. And I said, what does the Quran say? He says, in the ayah of Vilayah, we know very famously that Amir al-Mu'mineen gave his ring while he was praying in public. So was this not charity? So I said to him, right, that's a very good point you have risen. However, there are a few issues here that we have to understand. Number one, Amir al-Mu'mineen was not doing a wajib namaz at that time. It was a mustahab namaz. Because no beggar would walk into a mosque while there's Jamaat going on, a wajib prayer is going on. So Amir al-Mu'mineen was in the mosque, but he was doing his mustahab prayers. So he was not wajib. Because you know, they say to us, you say about Amir al-Mu'mineen that he was bitten by a scorpion, or he had an arrow in his foot and his leg, and he took it out while he was doing namaz. His concentration was so high, then how could he hear a beggar that came? Amir al-Mu'mineen was doing mustahab namaz. And he was doing it in the masjid, obviously public in front of everyone. However, Ahlul Bayt, and this is something that we don't have, unfortunately, that we have not learned from them and we have not taken from them. Whenever someone asks for something, they would hurry towards that act of kindness. Even if they're praying, if a mu'min or a person wants something, they would leave namaz to help them out. And this is the problem that we have, because we unfortunately look at everything black and white. Or as I say, we are dry mu'mins. Dry mu'mins means someone has like a dry sense of humor, and dry mu'mins. That even to imams, we make points of what they did, and we say, oh, this is not according to what Allah said. Like for instance, someone was walking in Tawaf and Imam Sadiq, and Imam Sadiq was talking to him while he was doing Tawaf, and he said, what news do you have from outside the masjid? He said, oh, there's one of your Shias, he was ill, he's not well, and I've just come from his house. And Imam said to me, we have been doing Tawaf half the way, you just told me now. Imam halfway through the Tawaf got up and said, let's go to his house to visit this mu'min who is ill. He said, Imam, halfway through the Tawaf, you want to leave the Tawaf? He said, but to get and serve, to go to the need of a mu'min is higher than doing any tawaf. So when I say that sha'a'ir of Allah is taqwa al-qulub, or is it this ways that our imams were? And these are the things that we have to understand and learn from our imams, that the needs of fellow mu'mins, fellow Shias, fellow Muslims, fellow human beings are higher. For instance, we have in our traditions that on the night of Ashura, Imam Hussein was behind his tents, and he was clearing the ground from thorns and stones and things like that. And again, this is a misconception of ours, that when they say in many majorities you've heard, that Imam was doing this because tomorrow he knows that they're going to set the tents on fire, his children are going to be running into the sand. He didn't want the thorns and the stones and that to go into the feet of his children. No, Imam is thinking about the enemies and their horses. That when they come tomorrow, he didn't want these thorns and that to go to the feet of the horses. This is the difference between Imam and us. See? So we have to understand that the serving of one another, mu'mins, and in particular these majalises of what we say, are the highest maqam that we can achieve. Then we also mentioned that Allah is not a God of punishment, He's a God of mercy. Then someone again brought up the issue of God is a God of mercy, then why is there so many ayahs in the Quran about the hellfire and the punishment and that? Well, there has to be a punishment because we mentioned for the people in history that have come and gone and will come and go, then their whole end and their whole punishment has to be there because this world is not enough for them. However, we have two types of punishment. One is in this world, one is in the hereafter. And I always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we do wrong. None of us are masoom. We have lots of wrongdoings. Myself in particular. But I always, one of my prayers to Allah is this, that any punishment you want to give it in this world. Why do I say this? For two reasons. Number one, because the punishment that comes in this world, then Allah will not punish on the other side. So He will sort everything out. Any crookedness that you have is here. Or they say about the first night of the grave, they say if there is any punishment, which I don't believe there is, because I believe that, Amir al-Mu'mineen says, Man yamut yarani, whoever dies will see me. So when Ali comes, mercy comes with Ali, because this is the way it is. So this is my personal belief. If I'm wrong, then on the day of judgment, grab my neck and tell me I was wrong. But this is my inherent belief. But any crookedness that we have, they iron it out here in this world. And that is what we want from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That iron out any crookedness that we have in this world. This is one type of punishment. So we always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world. Why in this world? And this also has another side to it. We will all face difficulty in this life. It's guaranteed. Whether it's financial difficulty, whether it is health problems, whether it is any other restrictions and restraints on our souls and on our body, we will face them. And this is a test from Allah. Why? Because sometimes, especially in financial hardships, we will try to find the way quickest to make money. Whether it is halal or haram, we don't care about that. Because when you're under hardship, under strain, you will try every route to find a way out of it, don't you? Yet these tests, these hardships, they're only there for a small amount of time. If you look back into your life, however many years you've been here, if you look back and remember the times of hardship, how long did they last for? Until something happened to change that situation. Amir al-Mu'mineen in Dua al-Kunuh says this, and he puts it very beautifully, that the bala in this world, qalilan maksu, yasirun baga'u, asirun muddatu. That anything, any punishment, it's only for a short amount of time. It will pass. فَكَيْفَ احْتِمَالِ لَبَلَاءِ الْآخِرَةِ فَهُوَ بَلَاءٌ تَطُولُ مُدَّتُهُ وَيَدُومُ بَقَاؤُهُ. Now, this has a few other meanings to it. I mean, this is the punishment on that side. تَطُولُ مُدَّتُهُ. It is a long time. But that means there is an end. So that does not mean just because someone is being punished in the hellfires, they will be there forever. There are some people, of course, that will be there forever. Forever. Allah says there is no khalas from them from the fires of hell, and they deserve to be in there. But there are other people, because sometimes people ask me, what if someone was a good person and they were a Christian or they were Jewish or they were Sikh? What will happen to them? Just because they're mushriks, will Allah not punish them? I say no. They will have the same as us. And this is one question that has come up, and I will tonight answer this as well. A lot of people ask me about Ahl Sunnah. And they say, we know many Ahl Sunnah that are very good people. I know myself. I know Ahl Sunnah. They are very good people. They do charity, they do namaz on time, they do everything. But of course we know that without the vilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, nothing is accepted. So what will happen to them on the Day of Judgment? We have in our traditions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring Amir al-Mu'mineen in front of everybody. And He will say to those Ahl Sunnah that have the chance that, what do you now believe that Ali ibn Abi Talib was the vilayat of Ali? If they say yes, then Allah will accept their vilayat. Because Allah says, Inna Allah la yuziyu ajrin muhsinin. Anybody who does good, Allah will not allow their goodness to be disappeared. And like I said, this is the God of mercy. This is the God who wants to grab his hand. And like I said, if you ever doubt this, then why did Imam Hussein want to save Shem on the day of Ashura? Why? Because he is the representative of that God. Okay? So this is the answers to that. If all these things we are doing, and alhamdulillah we are doing, the fact that we are here is the greatest blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I've always said that the nearest you are to Ahlul Bayt in this life, you will be nearest to them in Jannah. It's a very simple equation, simple mathematics. Islam is a very simple religion. So if this is all true, then why are we bothering? We should be happy with this then. We shouldn't strive any further. We shouldn't work any harder. The reason why we want to do this is because we want to become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you will see in every a'mal that we do, Allah says that you do your niyat. What do we do the niyat? Qurbatan in Allah. So much so, if you're doing anything, I always say, if you want to go to work in the mornings, when you open the door, you say, Qurbatan in Allah, I'm going to work to earn some money for my family. Bring me closer to Allah. You want to drink a glass of water, you pick it up, Qurbatan in Allah, drink the water, then say, Assalamu alaikum Muslim. This all brings you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We want to get close to Allah, but Allah says that I am closer to you than your jugular vein. Allah says I am near to you. So why do we want to get near to Allah? If Allah is here, why are we striving to get to near Allah? No, because on the hereafter, it is in the Jannah that we have to be minal muqarrabeen. We have to be those who have to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who are the muqarrabeen? Inshallah, in the following nights, we will mention who are the muqarrabeen. How do we become muqarrabeen? With only one action. One action is a big action because it encompasses 3 parts. I will mention it very quickly tonight. One action takes you nearest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is Amir al-Mu'mineen saying this. Allahumma inni ataqarrabu ilayka bizikrik. Whenever you have the word bi, after you have a word, that means only with this thing. Like Bismillah, only in the name of Allah. So when Amir al-Mu'mineen says that I want to get near to you, bizikrik, that means only with zikr, we can get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is zikr? Zikr is made up of 3 components. All 3 components have to be there. You can't have just one of the 3, you can't have 2 of the 3, all 3 have to be together. What is these 3 zikrs? I will say them very quickly now, and then inshallah we'll expand on it if I have life on Friday night. I won't be here for the next week due to work commitments and other commitments, but inshallah on Friday, if I'm alive, then I will be back in your presence. What are the 3 components of zikr? Number 1, Quran. نحن نزلنا الذكر. Quran is the zikr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. The second component of zikr, namaz. When Hazrat Musa went to the mountain for the very first time and he saw a fire, he was with his family, and he saw the fire, he went to get some firewood to bring back for his wife and his children because they were cold. When he went there, a voice came out of this fire bush. Ya Musa, inni ana Allah, la ilaha illa ana. Moses, I am God. There is no God but I. Fa'budni, worship me, wa aqim as-salatu li zikri. Musa namaz. His first encounter with Musa namaz. So zikr number 2 is namaz and all the tasbihat that goes with namaz. The third component on zikr is Ahlul Bayt. Imam Sadiq says, Nahnu zikr, wa nahnu zikrullah al-akbar. These 3 components have to be together for us to get zikr. Once we pay attention and follow these 3 components of zikr, like Amir al-Mu'mineen says, we then find qurb. We become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever does these 3 things, it's impossible for them not to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, over the next few minutes. When Abdullah Ja'far came to ask Amir al-Mu'mineen for the hand of Zainab al-Kubra in marriage, Amir al-Mu'mineen asked his daughter Zainab, Ya Zainab, Abdullah has come to ask for your hand in marriage. What do you think of this? Would you be happy for this khaslat and this connection? She said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, you are my Imam. Whatever you say, whatever you advise, I will listen to that because you're my Imam. And ta'at of Imam is wajib. She said, however, I have two conditions. If Abdullah accepts these two conditions, then I have no other conditions. What is it, Ya Zainab? Number one condition is that if I get married to Abdullah, I have to see my Hussein every day. The second condition I have is that wherever Hussein goes on a journey, I have to go with him. Allahu Akbar. Abdullah ibn Ja'far said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, these two conditions are fine with me. Hazrat Zainab got married to Abdullah ibn Ja'far. Kulthum says that for 2 or 3 days, Hazrat Zainab was a newly bride and she was in her house. After 3 days, I went to visit her to see how my sister is doing. When I entered the house of Zainab, I heard the sound of crying and tears and wailing coming from the house. I straight away got fear. I started to get scared. Has anything happened to Zainab? The way she is crying, it sounds as if somebody has died. So I ran into the room of my sister Zainab and I said, Zainab, what is wrong that you are crying like this? She said, oh, Kulthum, it is 3 days that I have married Abdullah ibn Ja'far. It is also 3 days that I have not seen Hussein. Allahu Akbar. Kulthum says, I ran to the house of Abu Abdullah and Hussein. She ran into the house and she heard the sound of crying coming from the house of Hussein. She ran into the room of Hussein and said, Ya Abu Abdullah, why are you crying for? Oh, Kulthum, it is 3 days I have not seen my sister Zainab. Allahu Akbar. What a cruel world this world is. How history repeats itself. Allahu Akbar. From the 10th of Muharram till the 13th of Muharram, Zainab al-Kubra had not seen the face of Hussein. She was sat in the mahmal. They were taking her towards Kufa. They were taking her physically towards Kufa, but she had left her heart and her soul at Karbala. She was dying in that mahmal because she had not seen Hussein. Suddenly she heard the sound of Quran coming from the outside the mahmal. She recognized this beautiful sound, the sound of Hussein. She put aside the curtain of the mahmal. She looked up at the head of Hussein on top of the spear, and then she says this to Imam Hussein, and this is a very amazing point here. She says, Ya Hilal Zainab. Zainab, you are making a mistake. It was the 13th of Muharram. It is the night of the full moon. Why are you saying Ya Hilal Zainab? Hilal comes on the 1st of the month. It is a very thin streak of the moon. So why does Hazrat Zainab say Ya Hilal Zainab? Why doesn't she say Ya Qamar Zainab? Qamar is the full moon. Because this head of Hussein was in the tanur of Khuli for 3 days. It was in the fires and in the charcoal and in the smoke that the face had become blackened. When Zainab looked at the face of Hussein, that it was completely blackened and only a little bit of it was apparent. She remembered the face of her mother Zahra. That when that second one had slapped her, the face of her mother Zahra had become black with bruises. That when Amir al-Mu'mineen looked at Fatima Zahra, he said, Ya Hilal Haydar. Allah la'natullahi ala al-qawmi al-zalimeen. فَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ. Ya Rabb al-Hussein, Haqq Hussein, اشف صدر الحسين بظهور الحجة. يا رب الحجة، بحق الحجة، اشف صدر الحجة بظهور الحجة. يا رب المؤمنين، بحق عين المؤمنين، اشف صدور المؤمنين بظهور الحجة. السلام